Alright guys, so I'm going to give you an update on the latest firmware release for the Eachine EV300Ds that came out on February 25th. And you're going to see a lot of videos on YouTube and some kind of weird and different results. I'm not exactly 100% sure what's going on here, but I just wanted to explain, make a video and explain a little bit about what I think is going on. Maybe you guys can make your own determination. So, long story short, I think the firmware update, at least on for the February 25th one, does fix a lot of the problems. It does seem like latency is a little bit better. It's, in my opinion, still not as good as the HD02s or the Sky 030s. However, depending on which experiment you see on YouTube, you're going to see different results. So some people are doing the stopwatch experiment. I guess I've seen this one video using a smartphone. It was some sort of a website. It was this one here, and it actually has a running stopwatch. So you point your FPV camera to this, and then at the screen, and then you can see the difference in the latency. And in terms of numbers, I think that this experiment is a little bit flawed because you don't know what the latency of the smartphone screen is, and there's a lot of other factors. Now also, and when I did my experiments with the light, where basically I point the FPV camera at a light and I turn it off and you watch the whole room go dark, I'm definitely seeing better latency numbers than I was before, but there's still a very big difference between the EV300Ds and the HD02s. So in this, when I redid the experiment with the turning the light off, I used the Run Cam Racer 3, and this has a advertised latency of 6 milliseconds, so very fast, much faster than the camera I was using before. So I was getting better numbers on the HD02, of course, now in the 20 to 30 millisecond range, but definitely a narrow range. It's more consistent. When I ran the same experiment on the EV300Ds with the new firmware, I'm getting a little bit better than before, but still it's like in the range of like 60 to 80 milliseconds. So definitely better than before, but not as good as the HD02s. You can actually see the difference. So I actually ran this little light experiment on the goggles with a screen with a camera pointing at both screens at the same time. You can see the HD02s reacting faster than the EV300Ds. Now, when you see the other experiment using the stopwatch and looking at the numbers that come out on the screen, it looks like they're pretty similar, like around 40 to 43 milliseconds for both EV300Ds and the HD02s, which is kind of odd given that when you actually do the light experiment and turn it off, it seems like the EV300Ds have a delay. I don't know why that is. Why would it look closer on the stopwatch experiment but not as close on the turning the light off experiment? Maybe you guys can comment below as to what you think could be that difference, but those are the two tests I've been seeing online, and the numbers are all over the place. The numbers you get on the EV300Ds are just, there's a huge range. Like sometimes I get latency numbers in the 150 to 200 millisecond range, and sometimes as low as 10 to 15 milliseconds when I'm doing the turning off the light experiment. It's pretty crazy. I don't know why it's so variable. It's more consistent when you're doing the stopwatch experiment, but I think that one's even more flawed because of the way the stopwatch is refreshed on the smartphone screen. So, you got to take that kind of experiment with a grain of salt, I think. I think my opinion, or my theory, is I think it has to do with the LCOS screen technology and the way it refreshes each color, red, green, blue, separately. And because it's not doing the whole screen at once, I think that is the reason why there's such variability in the latency. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure that they've actually fixed this problem yet. I can still fly this. I can do gates and everything, no problem. I think latency definitely feels better than before, but I'm not thinking that it's the same as the HD02s like they're claiming, or I think they're claiming it's the same as the HDOs. So I don't know which ones are faster, the HDOs or the HD02s. You guys can let me know down in the comments because I never flown the HDOs. I've never actually touched them, seen them in person. So if you guys know that the HDOs are slower or faster than the HDO2s, let me know in the comments below. But that is my update on this. I think things are still kind of up in the air. You guys are going to see a lot of videos. Some are going to claim that everything's fixed because when you do the stopwatch experiment, it looks like the latency is the same between the HDO2s and the EV300Ds. But if you do the turning the light off experiment, the numbers, it looks totally different. So I'm just going to leave it at that. You guys can come to your own conclusions as to what's going on. I think that some more work still needs to be done. But again, I think maybe it has something to do with the limitation of the screen technology that they're using here. Ultimately, you got to fly these and see if you feel latency yourself. That's really the bottom line. I think a lot of these sort of bench tests are not particularly that valuable in my opinion, but I'm just giving you the data here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.